So, final Raw before Elimination Chamber. How we feeling? We have new women's tag team champions. We harnessed the power of Tozawa, and we got to see how big of a prick Logan Paul really is. Welcome to Hot Takes, everyone. My name is Conman167, and this is the show where I ask you over on Twitter to submit any hot takes, thoughts, concerns, bold opinions, or whatever else you may have, and then we talk about them, roast them, critique them, all of that stuff. It's such a great time. So if you'd like to have your hot take featured in the future, be sure to follow me over on X at Conman167. But now let's get into your hot takes. With Liv and Raquel winning the women's tag team titles, I no longer see Liv winning the Elimination Chamber. Yeah, and I was kind of a fool to release my predictions for Elimination Chamber on Monday before Monday Night Raw even happened. Conman's predictions are way off now. But that's okay, alright? A lot of us thought that Liv Morgan was going to be the favorite to win the women's Elimination Chamber, but after Liv and Raquel won those tag team titles, it feels like that isn't going to happen anymore, and it feels like all of a sudden the new favorite's gotta be Bianca Belair. Like, I question why the women's tag team titles would be taken off of Bianca and Naomi at this point in time if there wasn't going to be a bigger story at play. And I'm also wondering if the Jade Cargill's situation is going to come into play during the Elimination Chamber. Like, I did have a prediction that said something along the lines of Naomi and Bianca would see a video on the Jumbotron and it would reveal who attacked Jade Cargill. Like, that could still happen, right? That could still be a thing that we see at Elimination Chamber. Hell, they could even start off with Naomi and Bianca in the chamber, and then the video plays at the very start, and then all hell breaks loose after that. My personal opinion is that it's still Bianca Belair that took out Jade Cargill, because I think there's a bigger match down the line with a heel Bianca Belair and a babyface Jade Cargill, and then also having Naomi as a babyface feud against Bianca Belair for a bit would make for some really damn good TV. But all that being said, Liv Morgan still could potentially win the women's Elimination Chamber. I'm not going to write her off yet. I'm not going to say that there's 0% chance, because WWE has shown in the past they do like the idea of a tag team champion holding on to a world championship. It adds a little bit of intrigue, makes them a dual champion. Like, I wouldn't hate it for Liv Morgan if she did walk out of WrestleMania as one half of the women's tag team champions and the women's world champion. But at this point in time, after seeing her win the women's tag team titles, it just doesn't feel like she's going to go to a world title match at WrestleMania. This is almost like the, hey, thanks for your work in the main event scene. We're moving on from you, but we're still going to have you elevate the tag team division. Almost exactly what happened with Bianca Belair, where they were like, okay, we can't put you in the world title picture at the moment, or the women's world championship, or whatever picture you want to call it, and we're going to drop you down to the tag team division, but hopefully because you're such a star, you're going to be able to make those tag team titles mean something. And hell, it worked. We're talking about a whole story with Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair, and that's centered around the tag team titles and the mystery of who attacked Jade Cargill. It worked, man, so hopefully it'll work with Liv Morgan and Raquel, but congratulations to them. 3-time women's tag team champions. You gotta love it. History makers right there, so congrats once again to Liv and Raquel. The difference between Raw and Smackdown is wild. So fans aren't enjoying Smackdown right now, and honestly, rightfully so. Monday Night Raw is on a whole other level these days. The programming is incredible. The matches are fun to watch. The stories make sense. There's a direction. There's intrigue. And SmackDown, you have The Rock wanting Cody's soul. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm intrigued to figure out what's next for The Rock and Cody Rhodes and all of that. But SmackDown is 3 hours. Meanwhile, Raw is 2.5 hours. And for whatever reason, it feels like we're getting far more storyline development on Monday Night Raw than we are on SmackDown. A lot of SmackDown feels like we're just going on a treadmill, maybe moving a little bit forward, but then that treadmill brings us right back into this same place we were. And then we take another step forward, and then we're right back into the same place. It doesn't feel like any progress is being made. Now, of course, this is not a blanket statement. There is stories being developed. There's characters that are doing good stuff on SmackDown. Like, I am enjoying Tiffany Stratton's run at the top. I am enjoying Charlotte Flair back on TV. I do like seeing whatever is going on with Carmelo Hayes these days. Like, I know that they've got the whole Melo don't Miz thing, but I like Carmelo Hayes, okay? At least he's on TV. But a lot of people have said that SmackDown is dominated by the Bloodline story. You know, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Roman Reigns feuding with him, Jey Uso, Uso, Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn. And once they moved away from that story being the focal point of Friday nights, the show just hasn't reached the same level. And honestly, it's a fair statement because the Bloodline story is one of the greatest stories WWE has ever told, and it's not at its peak anymore. It's definitely fallen off a little bit. We're at a point now where we're building up the future. There's peaks and valleys, right, in wrestling, and we're in a little bit of a valley when it comes to the Bloodline story. Doesn't mean it's bad, it just doesn't mean it's as exciting as when we had Sami Uso alongside of the Usos and Roman Reigns, and there was that whole dynamic right there. Solo! Something came over me, sorry. But it really does feel like right now Monday Night Raw is viewed in a whole other level, and a lot more effort is going into Raw's programming. Meanwhile, Smackdown is just kind of getting by. I'd love to see something more for Smackdown, and I imagine, I'm hoping, this just might be the wrestling fan in me, but after WrestleMania, I know, after WrestleMania, but it might start to turn the tide. I could see some new characters getting time on TV. See, SmackDown has always been one of those shows where the undercard it goes to SmackDown to thrive, right? You look at the Eddie Guerreros of the world, you look at Rey Mysterio, you look at the SmackDown 6 that we had, whether it be the men or women's SmackDown 6, like the women's side of things, Becky Lynch, Carmella, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Bella, like that time in SmackDown 2016 gave people an opportunity to get over. Dean Ambrose got over as WWE champion. There was freaking James Ellsworth getting over on that show. SmackDown has always been one of those programs where it's like, hey, these aren't those big stars, the massive stars right now, even though big stars do show up on the programming. But this is the future of WWE. It's not quite NXT. These aren't rookies, but this is the next level, right? These are the guys and girls that are going to take over WWE 5 years from now. So I hope that they start utilizing that show to put on great wrestling matches, because there's a lot of excellent talent on that entire roster, man. If you just let them go out there, put on banging matches, you got 3 hours to do it. Don't cut time for The Rock. You'll be golden. Even though Seth is competing in the Elimination Chamber, he put that aside for the night and was the friend Cody needed in that moment. None of Cody's other friends, aside from Randy, who's MIA, understands the situation Cody is in. Seth was the person to knock some sense into Cody tonight. Yeah, man, Cody Rhodes needed a wake-up call, and Seth Rollins is the best guy to do that. There's literally, I don't think, anybody else out there other than Randy Orton who could say what Seth Rollins said to him and get away with it. Now, granted, Cody Rhodes didn't love what Seth Rollins was saying, all right? He did say that you sound very judgmental at the moment, but also Seth Rollins was just speaking facts. This bro, Cody Rhodes, was seen, or at least mentioned, that he was drinking tequila with The Rock after The Rock told him right to his face, I want you to be my champion, I want your soul. Cody, you went and did shots of tequila with Dwayne right after that? Are you seriously thinking about joining The Rock? Like, if I was Seth Rollins, I'd crash out too. Bro literally hobbled to the ring to protect Cody Rhodes less than a year ago for this championship, and now Cody is taking shots of tequila with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Dude, Cody, I understand why these people are turning on you. I understand why Kevin Owens says you're a bad friend. I understand why literally everybody has left your side. You've alienated all these people, and you're taking shots with The Rock. You're teaming with Roman Reigns. Like, it's actually, it would be so infuriating if I was Cody Rhodes' friend. Imagine celebrating with this dude in the middle of the ring. Everybody just helped you finish your story, a 2-year-long story of fighting the Bloodline, and then immediately right after that, this dude tags with Roman Reigns, and then immediately after that, he's like taking shots of tequila with The Rock, thinking about selling his soul. Cody, wake the F up. But you want to know what's crazy about all of this is that here on this channel, we've been speculating for God knows how long that we could start to see a heel turn for Cody Rhodes. The Homelander Cody Rhodes, as the internet likes to call it. The Cody Lander, is that what they say? No, that's probably not what they say. This theory, though, about Cody Rhodes turning heel is not a new one amongst fans. We've seen little bits and things happen in Cody Rhodes' story over the last year that have seen him drop slowly and closer into madness. He's falling apart in front of our very eyes. He is in a very vulnerable state right now. And then you have The Rock swooping in, just dangling the world in front of his very eyes. He even said it on Monday Night Raw that he is considering it because he's got to think of his family. He's got to think of his nephews, cousins, whatever it was that are breaking into WWE. He's got to think of his grandkids, because he could set his future family up with generational wealth. If you're Cody Rhodes, you have to be considering this once in a lifetime offer. Once in a lifetime. But maybe the words that Seth Rollins said to him resonated, and maybe Cody Rhodes is going to wake up and he's going to bring back the American Nightmare that all the fans got behind just 1 year ago, that all the boys in the back got behind and supported. Cody Rhodes, you're in a very, very interesting state. You're walking that line, and it looks like Seth Rollins is one of the few people left that have your back. Don't fuck it up. Jade Cargill needs to cost Naomi at the Elimination Chamber. The story is getting stale, and many are losing interest. This is the best way to elevate the story. So I think a lot of people thought Monday Night Raw was going to end with the reveal of who attacked Jade Cargill, or at least something that was going to further that story along. With this being the main event angle, it felt like we were going to get a big time moment, and we did. Fair play. Okay, we did. We got new women's tag team champions, but also we didn't get the reveal of the who attacked Jade Cargill mystery, and it seemed like they were hyping that up all night, only to not reveal who attacked her. That to me makes me feel like this is going down at Elimination Chamber. This is a big time heel turn, and WWE doesn't just want it to happen on Raw. I think it's either Naomi or Bianca Belair, obviously one of the two, that have attacked Jade Cargill, taken her out, and now we need to figure out what the story is going into WrestleMania. If it was Naomi, if Naomi was the girl who attacked Jade Cargill, it makes sense, all right? Naomi benefited directly from it. She became women's tag team champions alongside of Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair was then forced to kind of take on Naomi as her new partner because, well, she didn't really have many other options. She slightly alienated herself in the locker room and had a lot of people upset at her in terms of foes and opponents and stuff like that, right? So Naomi was the friend that she could turn to. But meanwhile, then you got to start wondering, is Bianca Belair going to trust Naomi? Is she going to side with Naomi after all of this? Maybe Bianca's in on it. Maybe it's a double heel turn. But what's more than likely is that if it is Naomi, Bianca Belair is going to be absolutely livid that Naomi was the one who took out her tag team partner. You then have heel Naomi and babyface Bianca Belair. You could have the two feud with each other. And then you could also have Naomi feud with Jade Cargill whenever she's ready to come on back as well. But to me, that's not as exciting as Bianca Belair turning heel. I feel like Bianca Belair has so much to offer. If she is able to take it to that next level, to not just have to be the good girl in WWE anymore, if she can lean into a little more of her heel persona that she had from NXT, that's the persona that got her over in the first place. If she could lean into that, I think we see the next step for Bianca Belair, because in my opinion, she should be viewed on the same level of a Charlotte Flair, of a Rhea Ripley. She needs to be at that top tier level, and it's crazy that over the last year, it feels like she just hasn't been seen at that level. Bianca Belair is one of the most talented people in all of WWE, male or female. It's time to get her back into the main event scene where she belongs. The women's tag team titles are now in good hands with Liv Morgan and Raquel. Let's get Bianca back into that main event scene. And whether it's as a heel or a babyface, it needs to happen. I know they're just planting seeds, but it would be cool to see them run Styles versus Kross back again after Mania. It could lead to Kross trying to cause AJ to turn heel and be that guy who won the WWE title back in 2016. Honestly, any Karrion Kross on my TV screen is a good thing. The guy is getting over with me. I love his promo work. I love his story, but I need to see something more than just him being the guy who speaks to someone and leads to them turning, okay? Like, it was a cool direction, him feuding with the Wyatt Six, and I feel like it brought out a lot of his personality. And now what we're getting is we're just getting this kind of stalker-like character from Karrion Kross. It's not quite on the levels of DDP, but like he's getting a little creepy. Like, just look at this dude creeping in the background over here. Karrion Kross is somebody who could benefit from a mid-card championship, and I don't think that it's outlandish to say he could win the United States Championship or Intercontinental Championship after WrestleMania. He's got to be on the short list of people who could help elevate this title to the next level. And in the ring, Kross is fun to watch, but as he gets into his character, that's when he really thrives. And right now, he's dialed in, tapped into the character that he has. And for me, that could lead to a whole bunch of new scenarios that are just great TV. So why not put more of Karrion Kross on our TV? And if that means we got to feud him with AJ Styles, whatever. All right, awesome. Il est vraiment phenomenal. You know what I mean? He is very phenomenal. It would be a great matchup between AJ and Kross. And then if it led to AJ going back after the WWE title or something like that as a heel, okay, cool. I like AJ as a babyface, but hey, if it got him back in the WWE title picture, I'm fine with it. WWE stans who are just realizing Tozawa has that dog in him really need to look up his stuff pre-WWE. The guy is just an amazing cruiserweight that is still highly entertaining to watch. The guy has great comedic timing and is just all around likable. Respect the power of Tozawa. Yeah, I just had to include this because I love Akira Tozawa just like anybody. He's so much fun to watch. And yeah, I got to experience Tozawa in 205 Live. If anybody else remembers that show, he was a very entertaining wrestler. I believe he was cruiserweight champion. And something sticks out in my mind about a fatal five-way match. I think he was in one. Maybe Ali was in that as well. Might have been Gulak in there. I can't remember everybody, but like it was an incredible matchup. I remember Tozawa hitting this nasty senton from the top rope. The dude is incredible. So yeah, much love to Tozawa. And this was proof once again that when a squash match is done right, there are a few things more entertaining. You have the classic David versus Goliath matchup in Tozawa versus Gunther, the comedic jobber versus the world heavyweight champion. You put them in the ring with the right story, the right amount of fight from Tozawa, and all of a sudden you have a magical match, which is exactly what Gunther versus Tozawa was. They went out there, they crushed it. It was damn entertaining, and Tozawa looked like $1,000,000 in the process. Sure, Gunther was on a whole other level, and there was never really a true opportunity for Tozawa to win, as much as, you know, he made it seem like there was times he was getting the better of Gunther. Gunther just slapped him into oblivion, and before you knew it, it was done. But also, let's talk about Otis and Gunther after the match. We need to run Otis versus Gunther now. This should be next week's match on Monday Night Raw. I would love to see what Otis could do against a big world heavyweight champion in Gunther. Otis shouldn't win, but you know what would be impressive? Seeing Otis lift up Gunther and hit the world's strongest slam on him, and then Gunther kicking out at 2. That to me would be, that near fall would make me believe it. Hell, if you want, put the world heavyweight title on the line. Just screw it. We're not one night after Elimination Chamber. Just put the world title on the line. Otis versus Gunther, and then you play with people's emotions a little bit. Make people believe Otis could become world champion, and that it could be Otis versus Jey Uso. Have Jey Uso hype up Otis, put him out there, be in his corner the entire time, and then after Gunther beats Otis, have Jey Uso make the save and get Gunther off of him, and then do the yeet thing, okay? That to me would make for some great television. Alba Fyre should get built up as a contender for Lyra Valkyria's Women's IC Championship. Yeah, she should. Lyra Valkyria versus Alba Fyre would be a great matchup. The former Kaylee Ray in Alba Fyre has won championship gold all over the world. Literally everywhere that she has gone, she has won a championship. And so, at least, and that maybe that's not actually accurate, but at least she has been a well-recognized performer everywhere that she has gone. And most places she has won a title. She can do it all. She can work as a heel, a babyface, top of the card, mid card, job, whatever you need. Alba Fyre can do it. And so putting her up against the Women's IC Champion in Lyra Valkyria would be a great matchup. You know that you would get some good wrestling out of it, and it would make for an entertaining feud, even if it was just, you know, a couple of weeks on TV. Now, it's unfortunate that she doesn't have Isla Dawn by her side anymore, and it does suck when releases happen in the world of wrestling. It is a thing that happens, but it never is nice to see, so you always just want to wish the talent the best and hope that they land on their feet. And sometimes when one door closes, another one opens, so you never know. Sometimes a release can be a blessing in disguise, but my thoughts go out to Isla Dawn. I hope she lands on her feet because she's a great talent. But Alba Fyre has a lot to offer still in WWE, and I imagine it's just a matter of time before we see her, whether it's back in NXT again fighting around the NXT championship. I mean, imagine Alba Fyre versus like Julia, like, you know what I mean? There's definitely something there as well, but also Alba Fyre versus Chelsea Green would work. Alba Fyre versus, like we just mentioned, Lyra Valkyria. If we could find find somebody else for her in a tag team like Alba Fyre and, oh gosh, I don't know, Bailey. Alba Fyre and Bailey could be a fun tag team. But there's something there with Alba, and I wish her all the best, so hopefully she's going to see more opportunities in WWE. Great talent. But that's it for Hot Takes this week. Make sure you leave a like on this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so you never miss another upload, as I upload wrestling videos every single day, and leave that comment down below with any other hot takes you may have. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.